What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another conspiracy podcast episode.
Yo!
Hey, everybody.
Whole gang's here again.
Hope you guys survived the hurricane and
If you were in one of the states that
bitch Helene.
No.
God, she fucked everything up.
I know.
Seriously.
Asshole. Anyways,
Hope we can.
All three of us actually got pretty lucky.
I know.
yeah, I got super lucky.
So that was good.
yeah, I was very pleased.
Hopefully we give some, what's the word, respite? No, like
respite.
Respite, yeah, and
It's
some,
my same word, but
yeah, and if you're going through some rough, we can always build back, and we'll be fine. Everybody will be fine.
Yeah,
You know?
Yeah.
we will be fine.
We will be fine. What are we doing today?
Today we got the Anunnaki. I know we're gonna switch it up. Eric will not be narrating this one.
Let's go.
So I'm sure most of you who are conspiracy folks are familiar with this one. So we'll just kind of dive right in. So it is a very complex and controversial theory, and it's based on ancient Sumerian mythology, and that's where they get this from. If you don't know what the Sumerians are, they are the oldest known civilization that we have records from, and those are they on ancient clay Sumerian tablets, and they've been, in essence, they've been decoded, and this is where they get this from. So.
It's a long time ago, too.
And this is based on like their mythology, their archaeology, their astronomy, and that's where all these claims are from. So it's centered around the Anunnaki, which are the gods from the Mesopotamian myths, sorry about that. And they were not deities, but extraterrestrial beings that influenced the development of human civilization, genetics, and technology. And that is where we come in. So first things first is like the origins of this. So the Anunnaki appear in the oldest known civilization, which is Sumer, which is in present-day Iraq, and this dates back to around 4500 BCE, which is roughly 6500 years ago.
Yeah. Okay.
So the name Anunnaki translates to those who came from heaven to earth.
Okay.
So in Sumerian myth,
Only 4 times, though.
only four times in the history of mankind.
That was probably number 1.
I know, it was number 1, and then they came back and they left like their wallet, like shit. They're gonna come back. And then maybe 2 other times on accident.
If you don't know what they're talking about,
Yeah.
Go back and listen. Go back and listen.
Listen to the whole catalog.
Yeah.
So they were the children of Anu, who was the sky god, and they were believed to be responsible for creating human beings and shaping civilization.
And so this is all like fairy tale-ish kind of like stuff, right?
I mean,
like,
it's
not.
It's
It's
weird
official.
It's weird that you say that it's fairy tale because like when the ancient people were transcribing their history,
I see.
we're the ones who are saying it's fairy tale. But if
Because
you were
it's
like
so-
an ancient Sumerian, you're like, this
Okay.
shit fucking happened. Write it down so they know. And we're like, fucking idiots. Fairy tales.
Yeah.
So essentially, so much time has passed, and I'm so skeptic
Skeptical, yeah.
that I go, oh, it's impossible. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
But in reality, it could be somebody writing a
In
history
reality,
book.
it's these people writing the most ancient
Yeah.
version of history.
Or they're kind of like writing Harry Potter.
But why would
And
you
like somebody somebody translated it to Anunnaki.
Yeah.
playing the clay
No,
tower?
it's like aliens come to Earth and our civilization's gone and it's thousands of years from now. And then all they find is Harry Potter and the Sorcerer's Stone.
Well, see, for them, it's like for them it was the gods coming down.
Yeah.
Because they didn't know.
Yeah.
Like, they're like,
Yeah.
holy
Yeah.
shit, the gods
Yeah.
are descending upon Earth.
Okay.
And you realize that mythology and gods have been in every major civilization time immemorial.
Yeah, okay.
So like everyone's full of shit. Like the whole entire human race is lying. I'm just saying. So these beings are often depicted as powerful entities with control over the cosmos and human affairs. So that's like the obviously the origin story. It's like like X-Men Origins, but like
Yeah.
older.
Yeah.
Magneto and shit.
Exactly. So the modern Anunnaki theory, as understood today, largely originated from the works of a person named Zecharia Sitchin. That's a very interesting name. So it was this person was I don't actually know if it's a dude or a chick. I should have probably looked that up. But anyways, they're an author and a scholar.
Zecharia.
Zecharia sounds like a chick.
It is a chick, yeah, probably Zecharia. like Sicario and then Sicaria.
Right, exactly.
Fucking witches.
So in the 1970s, she proposed that the Anunnaki were not gods, like they were written in the text. They were actually extraterrestrial beings. Oh, wow, it's a dude. His. Ha, ha, ha. I'm not editing that out. So his book series was called The Earth Chronicles, and they reinterpreted the ancient text, suggesting that the Anunnaki came from a distant planet called Nibiru. So now we're going to get into what Nibiru is. Some people might have an idea of it, but
do you know when that was written?
in the 70s.
In the 70s, okay.
So 1970s. So Nibiru is considered the planet of the Anunnaki. So according to Sitchin, Nibiru is a planet located in the outer reaches of our solar system on a long elliptical orbit that brings it near Earth every 3,600 years. Elliptical meaning like it's like an elongated. So take a circle, we're going in a circle around Earth. This is an elliptical orbit, so it's like it takes a much longer path as opposed to just going around in a circle. And so Sitchin's theories suggest that Nibiru is the home of the Anunnaki, which is, he claims, a highly advanced extraterrestrial race. And then when Nibiru came close to Earth in ancient times, its inhabitants descended to Earth, possibly seeking resources such as gold. This is a very common theme.
I know.
Gold being a resource, which is another thing too that we talked about last time. How many conspiracies? I mean, how many coincidences? Where it's like everybody
wants gold. It's kind of strange too, though.
Spice. Everybody wants spice.
The spice. No, when you think about it, gold is actually one of the most versatile elements that we have on our planet.
Okay.
It's extremely malleable. Means it can be pounded out very thin. It's very.
You can melt it.
It's highly conductive.
Yep.
It's also an amazing insulator.
Yeah.
It's just like.
It looks good, like on a full grill.
Yeah, just like shiny.
Yeah, it looks good.
Hella shine.
That's why they wanted it.
It's actually extremely versatile metal. So I think that's why this keeps coming.
I wonder if there's gold on other planets.
Right.
Do you know
like
what I mean?
why is it so? It was
Earth
definitely
related?
not like a currency or anything back then.
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't.
Also, an interesting question is: say we started exploring the universes and all that sort of thing, and then we found a planet with gold. Do you think we would freak out and put all our resources to going to that planet?
They're like, we need
that planet.
Yeah, this one.
That's the planet. Yeah, because there's tons of gold.
It can't hold life.
Yeah.
Who cares? Get to that planet.
And then, like 1,000 years from now, everybody's got gold. Everything.
No, it's like my gold shirt. Yes. It's like made of solid 24 karat gold. It weighs 300 pounds, but I love it. So then there's a theory. There's like a planetary collision theory. So. Some versions of this theory suggest that Nibiru was involved in a cosmic collision that created Earth and the asteroid belt between Mars and Jupiter. So
kind of like that one.
Yeah, so this idea, pretty much of Nibiru had been popularized and sensationalized over the years, and it was often tied to the doomsday prophecies and cosmic catastrophes, tied throughout human history.
I like that one.
The various things. So it is based on what they say how big Nibiru potentially is, and it could have possibly created the planet. I don't know how real
that has some logic to it, because our history of Earth shows a lot of collisions.
Oh yeah,
and even the creation of the moon,
and the dinosaurs.
Yeah,
and all
it
that
shows
shit.
a lot of there's chaos and there's collisions occurring.
Yeah,
There it is on board.
I know.
I mean, I'm kind of building up to the Anunnaki.
And then now we get into some of the rejections of that theory. So mainstream sciences reject the existence of Nibiru,
Here we go.
claiming there's no evidence of such a planet and that the orbital dynamics proposed by Sitchin are unlikely.
Yeah.
Because when you think about it, technically, so we're rocketing through space extremely fast.
Yep.
So really, the way orbit works is let's say this is the sun shooting this way hella fast, and we're going around it like that. So if there's one in a really long elliptical, it
would get left behind, basically.
If
we're going that way, and this thing is kind of
gravity would be really wonky
right
on this fucking planet, because it's you're so far away, can't even be seen, and then it's it gets a little. So I understand where they're coming from.
I wonder why they're called Anunnaki if they're from.
Well, the Anunnaki, Anunnaki
translates
to it was I
got you.
Gods came from the heavens. So
it would be kind of like if we went to
ancients.
Let's say we as Earthlings went somewhere, and then we were given a name thousands of years later of something else, even though we weren't
humans?
Earthlings anymore.
Humans?
Yeah.
Well,
No, I'm just saying because like usually you say it like they're from
Yeah,
that planet, Martians,
yeah,
or whatever.
No, but I
you
mean,
know.
obviously, like they can't. Like the theory is that it's not like we were like an advanced civilization when they came.
Right.
So it's not that
Yeah.
we're like, who? Oh, like if
Yeah.
you're like a caveman,
Yeah.
like some shit comes, blah! Yeah, you're
Honestly,
gonna be like, it's a god. Don't
we were
fuck with it.
straight up just humping shit.
I know, right?
All
Like
we could do.
fucking eating lizards and shit.
Kind of like today.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if one came down, I'd be like, it's a god. 100%. So, so pretty much they think that, obviously the physics behind a long elliptical planet in orbit would be
Doesn't
kind of
check out.
unlikely. There are some theories that argue a new astronomical discoveries, like the hypothesized planet 9, could give credence to the idea that a distant celestial body influencing Earth's history. So there is, I don't know if you heard about the theories that there is like another planet out there in the deep, like in the deep ring, like, obviously Pluto they initially thought was a planet, they're like, no,
So,
it's not
it
a
broke
planet.
my heart.
Yeah, cut it out. It's not
Broke
a
my
planet.
heart, man.
So like they're saying that there's potentially another planet
Another
that's
one's-
actually further out. So now,
What's crazy is that we don't know.
no, we have no idea.
Like our technology is so primitive that we don't even know.
You couldn't pick
if
that
there
up with
are
like
more.
that one of those
No,
the
I
Hubble
know, right?
telescope
The thing
or
is,
one of
like-
those like powerful
well,
telescopes.
those
Yeah.
powerful telescopes are
Satellite
like,
things.
The way it works is like you just open this lens and you just like absorb light for long periods of time, and then it
Okay.
gives you like a picture.
Yeah.
It's not like a video camera
True,
where you're
yeah.
like, oh shit, something's moving out there. It's like you get this super long exposed image, so it's not going to necessarily. It's easier to track things that are very far away because you're taking so much time like looking in one
Yeah.
spot. But if you're looking in one spot and like the planet's like right over here outside the frame, like, you're never gonna see shit.
Okay.
And and there's also the theory of it's so far away and the light took so long to get here that by the time it got here, it's not what you're looking at.
Oh, for sure. There's
You know what I
shipping.
mean?
It's like billions of years.
So if you're
Wait,
looking
say it again?
It's okay. So if you're looking through a telescope super far away, the light that you're receiving to take that image or to see the image
Yeah.
of that
Yeah.
took so long for the light to travel.
Okay, fine, but I mean,
Like,
if it
that's
picks
so
up
confusing.
so
Yeah.
many other
It's-
galaxies that are so far away, it can pick up another planet
No,
that's
but
in
see-
our galaxy.
I
No,
know.
but the thing is, like, that's the point. It's like
Yeah.
you're picking up a galaxy. Like, you know how big
Oh,
a galaxy
yeah,
is
okay.
compared to a planet?
Sure,
It's
sure,
like
yeah.
correct.
It's
Yeah.
like,
Yeah.
oh, there's a grain of sand in the picture.
Right,
Like,
right,
like,
right,
fuck out
correct.
of here.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's so big and it's like emitting so much light, and it's a stationary thing.
Right.
So it's hard because you'd have to be looking at the right exact spot where it would have to be, and it'd be like a shorter exposure.
Okay.
As opposed to like, we're trying to see like some
Yeah.
shit like 100 light years away,
Yeah.
or 1,000 light years away.
Yeah.
So then
Makes sense.
we get into the Anunnaki and human connection. This is where it gets like real saucy. So according to the theory, the Anunnaki genetically engineered early humans, combining their own DNA with that of the hominids, which are like the ancient, like the early humans. So this is supposedly done to create a slave race to mine resources, particularly gold, for the Anunnaki's purpose. And so once we get through this, I have a separate thing specifically on genetics that we're
Okay.
going to go over.
Okay.
Because it's really interesting. And I actually was listening to this audiobook, super fascinating, because it kind of goes against what the common perception is. And it's like known about, but like still no one like talks about it.
Yeah.
Which is
Yeah.
like really weird.
Yeah.
But, like no one's like talking about it. They're just like, yeah, it's true, but
That's
like
interesting.
fucking leave us alone.
It's interesting. Also, a lot of the sci-fi movies that we watch are based essentially on that. I mean, I don't know if you've seen the Alien series,
Oh yeah.
but there's
yeah.
Prometheus and there's
Those
there's-
are the prequels of like
the prequels of Alien, and there's a race that built humans.
Yeah.
And, it's a very similar vein where you have a little bit more of a powerful entity. And maybe they're not gods, but they're more powerful.
Well, I mean,
they're more advanced.
How do you
define
how
the
do you
god?
define
Yes,
God? I mean,
exactly.
if you're an ancient civilization who like you're building fucking
Something comes
you're
down
building
from-
There you
fucking
go.
mud huts,
From the sky.
Giant
Honestly,
spaceship comes
no,
down.
Yeah.
that is one of the best questions you've ever posed in your entire life.
Thank you. Because Eric's been there every step of the way. He's been there watching me, listening. Waiting
No,
for-
but it's true. Like what defines a god, and it's what we can't do ourselves.
yeah, it's like what do you like? What can do the unexplainable?
Yeah.
a god
Yeah.
can do the unexplainable.
So if I could lift that hat without touching it, that is a god.
I mean,
for us, it's godlike.
Imagine you're like ancient dude. You're like tilling the land, making like you get your first like bean. You're like fucking killing it, and then literally like something comes flying through the sky, and they're like levitating, and you're like, okay,
Yeah.
what do you want me to do for
Right.
you?
Yeah.
Like, how can I serve you, sir? So that's where.
And even if it was 5,000-6,000 years ago, and you're kind of like a primitive race, and you see somebody with an iPhone.
Oh my God! Yeah, could you fucking imagine?
Are you
Let me just
kidding?
look that up right quick. What do you mean?
You would be godlike.
Oh, instantly. Right.
Yeah.
I'd be like, let me
Right.
take
You
a quick
got, like-
photo of
yeah.
you. They're like,
Yeah.
oh, sorcery. How am I looking at myself? like a
Sorcery.
selfie.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely. I'm there. I'm there.
So, and then the in Sumerian myth, Enki, he was one of the leading Anunnaki and was responsible for creating humans.
It's very similar to Eric.
Enki. Eric,
It's like
is
two
a-
letters away.
The Anunnaki were bald white men, very bearded white males.
10, 15 pounds overweight. Just almost there.
I know.
Not quite.
I know. Enki was actually was the national sales manager for the Anunnaki Corporation. Funny enough.
That's weird. My nickname's Enki.
I think we're onto something here.
All right,
Let's take
sorry.
a short break.
Sorry, keep going. Yeah.
So, the theory suggests that Enki used genetic manipulation to create the first humans known as Adamu, which is weird when you think like Adam and Eve.
Adamu. Okay.
Adamu, Adam.
Yeah,
Like being the
okay.
first.
And it's Adamu. Adamu. Okay.
Yeah. So then from whom?
Adam you.
Yeah. It even says like from whom the biblical figure Adam was believed to be derived
Oh, wow,
from
okay.
Adamu.
Interesting.
Like, meaning
Wow.
like he created the first
Yeah.
like human. It was like,
Yeah.
oh, like, you know, God created man in his own image.
Yeah.
So then you get these crossovers with like, you know, these belief systems where it's like,
Interesting.
you know,
Wow,
if
okay.
he created something in his own image, you're obviously still superior.
Yeah.
And you're creating like this subservient race like below you. And I'm just saying. So part of the theory attempts
like
to
that.
explain sudden advances in human development, particularly around the rise of the civilization in Mesopotamia,
Okay.
which literally, like, to our knowledge, it just like out of nowhere, it's like this bustling, thriving, massive mega society for the time. Obviously,
Yeah.
like it's not like
Yeah.
you know, like LA,
Not like
has
New
more
York
people
City.
than, like
Yeah.
the whole planet did.
Yeah.
Like, you know,
It's not like they didn't have like Uber Eats.
not that advanced.
Yeah, it wasn't that advanced.
SpaceX wasn't even invented
Yeah,
yet.
yeah.
So then we get into like the human DNA evidence portion of it. So proponents of this theory claim that junk DNA, quote unquote junk DNA, which is the portion of our genome that doesn't code for proteins, could be a remnant of this genetic tampering by the Anunnaki. So I did want to get into, because there's the big
Yeah, I don't know.
big-
I don't really get junk DNA.
so there's
Yeah.
the huge part about this theory is the genome.
Okay.
So the genome was mapped in, I think they finished mapping the genome in like, it was like 2006 or something.
Okay.
They thought it was going to take longer and they ended up doing it faster.
And by mapping, you mean they like laid it out
Yeah,
as
they were
they
able-
figured it all out, and they kind of
Not
like,
necessarily figured out, but they're able to like understand like, okay, like here's
the basic structure of it.
yeah, like
Yeah?
here's like a
Kinda
DNA,
trace
which
it all
is like this
back.
microscopic thing, but
Yeah.
the DNA itself has like, it's like, I'm gonna get into it, but I think it's like some like 3 million different chains of things.
Yeah.
So, well, let me explain.
Okay.
So one of the common theories and common misconceptions was that humans have only been around for 6,500 years. You know?
6,500.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Humans as we
Yeah.
know them,
Yeah.
like sentient beings.
I
have
think
only
we
been
all
around for
disagree on that.
About 6,500 years. I mean, that's
Yeah.
been the
I mean,
commonplace. They thought that
yeah.
the Sumerians were like the first humans. Like they were
Yeah.
like, man, like shit
Yeah.
didn't exist before them.
Yeah.
But so Homo sapiens, which are the modern human species, which are us, sentient, not like, you know, cavemen, like like retards, like actual like Homo sapiens. So they appeared around 200 to 300,000 years ago in Africa.
Wow.
300,000 years. You don't hear shit about this.
Right.
So there's genetic evidence suggests that the genomes of modern humans became distinct around this time. Meaning like you had a distinct, like the thing that makes us, because I don't know if you guys are aware, but the DNA is actually, it is
School
the,
them.
it is the building block of this body's existence. It is the thing that literally tells the cells exactly what to do, like from like, you know, the sperm goes in the egg, and then it literally tells the cells to replicate in order to create the body. Like without DNA.
Can you tell me one more time?
This happens, and then DNA takes over. No, but the DNA actually is literally it's in essence it's like the rubric. It's the map to make a body.
Okay.
Yeah.
And so your DNA is responsible.
It's the most basic ingredient. Essentially,
It is the thing that actually
Most fundamental.
It is the
Like-
thing that tells, because there's DNA in the nucleus of every cell in your body, and
Yeah.
it tells that cell what to do. The DNA is responsible for literally telling that cell, "Hey, you have to go here. You have to do this. Like you have this blood cell has to go here. This white blood cell is supposed to do that." It's
Crazy.
like it is like the command for all of cells in your body. Like that's how important the DNA
And
is.
so what this is saying is that can be traced to 200,000 to 300,000 years ago is when that started.
Yeah,
Maybe.
so pretty much they were able to, some science way, pretty much track the genome back to around that period, and that's what they estimate 200 to 300,000 years ago is when the genome became a thing, like when the DNA became a thing in human species. So there was fossil evidence in Jebel Arad, Morocco, and it dates the earliest known Homo sapiens to about 300,000 years ago. So they actually have fossilized DNA evidence of this.
Okay.
And these humans would have carried a genome that is largely similar to the modern genome. So it's like, Jorge's body was found in like Morocco. And he's 300,000 years old. So then again, this big portion of how much of the genome do we use? So it's a bit complex, and it was evolved kind of over time with like them trying, obviously mapping it and understanding what it does. So the human genome is humongous. It's mass. It's this microscopic thing that's literally in the nucleus of every cell in your body. It contains about 3 billion base pairs. Sorry, I said 3 million. 3 billion base pairs of DNA. So it's like you have like this sequence, and there's just like 3 billion of these motherfuckers like creating this thing. It's massive.
When you say base pairs, what
does
does
that
that mean? Yeah.
So there's like, pretty much, so like the DNA is in like this double helix form. So it's in this
like a
double helix
spiral type of
So
thing.
there's these, so in each one of there's like these little pairs of,
So they're like together.
yeah,
Almost.
like little pairs of genes like in there, and like
Okay.
and each one of them has a specific purpose. Now with that, most of it we don't know what it's for. So that's why the term junk DNA comes, which I'll get into.
Okay.
So researchers realized that it plays very important roles, integral roles in how the human body operates. So the main thing, one of the main things is what we call protein coding. So about 1% to 2% of the human genome codes for proteins, which are the building blocks of our cells, tissues, organs. These sections are known as exons, and they contain the instructions for making the proteins that carry out various cellular function. So 2% of those 3 billion are responsible for creating these different proteins.
Okay.
Like, I forget all the fucking weird names, but there's like the main, like, blah, like those like key proteins in like surviving, like in life. I know, it's like, if you're a vegan, you're not getting this shit, loser. Like, it's like that kind of shit. So then they get into regulatory DNA and functional non-coding DNA, meaning non-coding, not coding specifically for proteins, which is about 10%-ish.
Okay.
So beyond the protein coding regions, a significant portion of a genome is made up of regulatory elements. These include promoters, enhancers, and silencers, which control when and where genes are turned on and off. Non-coding RNAs, such as microRNAs and long non-coding RNAs, which play critical roles in gene regulation and cellular processes. So this is the shit that's like I was mentioning.
That was a mouthful.
I was mentioning like cellular processes, like hey, like when there's like when there's an outside threat to the body, like it literally, like the white blood cells are like, and like they're like, oh shit, we need to go attack it.
They know what to do.
Yeah, it's like, this is not from here.
Yeah.
We need to go attack it. This is part of that shit that DNA does. It's telling them like, hey, if an outside source comes in, you need to protect it. It's like that shit is like programmed. It's like literally like a program.
Like,
imagine the
I
human
got you,
body
bro.
like a
I got
computer
your back.
program, and it's like part of the DNA is like your spyware. It's like trying to like keep like, oh, this shit, like don't open this, or like, oh, if you do open it, I'm gonna try to protect you from getting fucked up.
Okay.
So then, like almost 80% of the genome is what they call junk DNA, literally because they don't fucking know what it does.
Wow.
And it's not active.
Interesting.
And there's all these things that are not active. So we're literally operating off like,
or that we
That's
think they're
interesting.
not active.
well, they can't. There's no for them like so, like.
Wow.
Includes like
really?
repetitive sequences, jumping genes, all these different things that they don't. They're like, well, we call it junk because they can't find any active use in the human body that it controls. So you have this massive 80% that they're like, oh, it's trash.
Yeah.
But like it's not fucking trash. Like why would it be there if it was like, yeah, it's trash? Yeah. So
maybe it's our supernatural abilities that are just untapped.
Dude, that's part of the theory.
Really?
Oh,
okay.
That's part of the theory.
You know what I mean?
Like, you know, it's like almost like
It's like that Eric gene. That
Enrique.
Eric is the supreme being.
I mean, I'm inside of all of you.
Eric is the fifth element.
Just so you know, I'm 80% of you.
just waiting to be unleashed, untapped supremeness.
I want everybody to know I'm in you right now.
Dormant. Yeah. Dormant Eric. Just resting, waiting to tap.
It's like that Limitless.
Yeah,
movie.
yeah.
That's
No,
Eric.
absolutely. 100%. Yeah.
That movie is long, as well as what's the one with the
girl?
Yeah, the hot
ScarJo?
chick. Yeah, ScarJo.
Yeah. Oh, man. She's my
What's it
favorite.
called?
That's
It's
a
called
good
like
one.
Becky or some shit.
Just
No,
Amy.
Lucy.
Lucy.
Yeah, it was
man.
like Becky, Amy,
Every time you
Lucy,
say her name,
Becky, Amy, Jamie, Jessica.
whatever. Sarah.
every time you say her name, I just like space out.
Did her name have a Lynn after it? You ever seen? You know that from that one movie? Eric got me.
Anytime there's a Lynn,
Yeah.
I don't know what that is, but I'm gonna look at. We're gonna ask you later.
we'll make
Yeah.
a clip about it.
So
Yeah.
that that's very similar to those movies, Limitless, Lucy, where it's like the main concept is like, oh, we only use 10% of our brains, but like really,
What would happen
We're only
if-
using 20% of our genome, our DNA. Like so, we have all these untapped genes, all this untapped potential. Who knows what it's for? So
What do you think it's for?
let me finish this. And then we'll get into that.
Okay.
So, the research suggests that some of this DNA has regulatory functions and plays a role in the 3D structure of the genome, helping organize how the genes interact with each other. They also think that like the full function is really not fully understood, so they're just like, it's kind of like covering your ass, like we don't really know,
Yeah.
we're still figuring it out, even though we said we like mapped it.
Yeah.
So back into like the 80%, like they don't really know, and they think that it could have some viability, and they're still today, like they're still researching it today, and they're still trying to figure out what that means.
But it sounds like we've only been doing it for 10, 15 years. If it was fully mapped in when you
It
said
was like 2006, I think they finished.
yeah, so like 15 years really of research is not a whole lot.
Well, the thing that I think it is, and the I wish I knew the author. I could look it up on my phone, but one of the really good points that he brought up is that, like, okay, like look at the way that the body works now, especially when you're younger. Like the cells, like the way it's built is that an infinite replication of the cells to keep you healthy. And then at some point you hit a certain point and they stop working.
Yeah.
But they're like, well, he's like, well, why is it stopping working?
Yeah.
It works. You'd be seemingly invincible. Like you would just. I mean, obviously you can like be killed, but like it'll replicate. It should theoretically continue. Your cells should continue to replicate, and you should in essence stay like you grow to like your 20s, and then you should stay that forever.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, mine stopped at 22. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean,
okay.
I'm like, am I down? Like the slope was real. It was like real up and
start accelerating
every morning,
at 32.
the little things I can just I gotta kick it into gear.
I mean, literally, I wake up and I'm like broken. After I'm broken after the podcast, so I'm like sitting here, I'm like, oh, I'm sweaty and like
Forget
old.
waking up, like just getting up out of this chair.
Went to the bathroom the other day and I fucking pulled a hammy.
That's interesting.
So what I think that this DNA is from, and like to like this back to the original theory of like this being a slave race. I think that I don't know if they necessarily created the human bodies or took existing ones and then insert the DNA and then like dumbed it down.
Okay.
Like, okay, well, we
What
don't want to.
do you mean by dumbed it down?
Well, maybe
We don't want to. We don't want them to get too smart.
Yeah.
We don't want them to have too much ability.
maybe they trialed it out, and it was like a couple dudes, and they were like
and
they
it-
were super powerful, and
Dude.
it was too much,
That's too
and then
much.
they
Right.
brought it down. They were like, "Fuck it."
Dude, you actually just gave me an epiphany. Like, look at Greek mythology. Look
Mm-hmm.
at all the demigods.
Yeah.
Like
Maybe
you have
they
like
came out with
Hercules and Achilles, and they're like, shit, these guys are the tits.
Yeah,
like,
we did crank it back. Crank it back.
Crank it back.
And now they're like, whoa, like a software update. Like, you gotta fucking, we got this new iPhone coming out, boys. Sorry, you're gonna get new.
ScarJo's too hot. Back it down. Back it down.
No, so that's why I do think that it was in essence like a built-in limiter, because like imagine if, you know,
For sure.
you come down and like you're like, you know what? I think I'll make you like, I think I'll make it 20%.
Right.
Yeah.
20%.
No, because if we're talking about,
I'm gonna throttle you.
now we'll get a little dark. Like, let's say you're trying to create slaves. You don't want the slaves to have any opportunity to uprise or to do better than you or anything.
But you still need them like cognizant.
Yes.
You still need them like able to like function.
You
and,
still need to
talk.
make them. You still need to get them to make a perfect triangular
pyramid.
Oh, he's finally I love this.
He's finally on board. See, that's why we had to do this one before we did the pyramid.
Right.
No, but
now
what
it's like, it's like setting
but
them
in
up.
reality, that makes me right because that means humans built the pyramids.
You said they were employees, Eric.
Well, yeah, but yeah.
No,
Yeah,
shit, he might
they're
have a point.
employees.
Like,
No.
he might.
No, because
he might be getting one up on us.
they had the alien technology, bro.
Trickster.
He had the alien technology.
That's right.
No, they had the.
I never said
Which
they
is
didn't
what
have
we've
a
been
one
saying.
up.
Which is what we've been saying
have
the
a
whole
one-up.
time.
I'm just
Yeah,
saying
maybe they have a
alien
one-up.
technology. Yeah, it's like you're not gonna come there and be like, figure it out with your shitty tools,
Right.
slaves. Like, you know, like you're gonna like here's
Eric's
a
like, I
forklift,
think
bro.
I'm
like,
gonna.
fucking figure it
Eric
out.
thinks like it was like a craft project from like the
some dude like some charcoal like drawing like this is gonna be tight. Trust me on this.
Trust me,
We need more quartz,
You're not
more
wrong.
marble than has ever existed.
figure it out. Just trust me.
But I do think that it does make a lot of sense that we have to see what's weird and it's happening even now is that back in the day people wrote down history because they really wanted to like have the future generations to have that information. And then nowadays it's like don't look at history.
Nowadays we got Instagram.
Well,
we documenting everything on for the gram.
history's getting erased.
Jeez.
Like you don't hear
No,
about
it's
like
true.
all this
We have 2 strikes on TikTok for showing history.
for literally showing history.
That's fucking bullshit.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I'm saying. Like the idea of like history, it should be like almost like it's like a rite of passage, like to know what came before.
Even if it's dark.
yeah, even if it
Yeah.
sucks, like you have
Yeah.
to be aware that things
Yeah.
could happen to prevent things from happening in the
Yeah.
future. So I do think that we've then made kind of a mockery of it. They're like, you know, oh, these Sumerians, idiots. Like, you know, like why would they fucking put that shit on clay tablets? Like
True,
to put
it's a
like
lot more
a
work.
fucking bedtime story.
Yeah.
Like no, it's like
Yeah.
I think there's some validity there.
Yeah, it's a lot more work than a dick pic.
Yeah,
You know what I mean?
literally, like the OnlyFans. You know, like we don't need that to go to
Yeah.
the future. So, anyways, people believe that because of this, like this could be an explanation of why humans evolved so rapidly in terms of intelligence. You know, you go from like virtually like a pseudo monkey man to being like, you know, civilization, buildings, houses, aqueducts, like all of these, like, you know, advances in human technology.
Yeah.
So geneticists and biologists refuse the idea that our DNA contains evidence of alien manipulation, arguing that human evolution can be fully explained through natural processes like evolution by natural selection. Which I mean, I don't know.
No.
It just seems like it did happen pretty fast. It was like, you know, we were cavemen, and then like 6,000 years ago, we're geniuses. Like, you know, like we're fucking, we have made it.
But
boys.
this all takes away the concept of the spark.
The Big Bang, or what are you talking
No,
about?
like
What do you mean the spark.
the spark of humanity, of religion, or of spirit, or of, you know what I mean? Because it's all somebody else creating us to be better.
Well, I mean, you know,
Well,
You know what I mean?
if you
As
look at
opposed to us just being I mean, it's pretty arrogant, but being
it doesn't.
an
Take,
Like we're already
amazing,
there. We just been progressing.
Yeah,
We've been
I see.
you're saying
evolution.
You're
I'm
like,
just saying-
you're saying that takes away.
Yes,
The spark.
yeah.
I'm going to say like, well, the spark is like the
a
Sumerians.
slow-
They're
No,
clearly like, this is the spark of life.
I mean, if you take only geneticists and biologists and only from all of this data and you take it all the way back,
yeah.
hundreds of thousands of years, there's no like, well, what about the spirit and what about
I fully
Does that
agree.
make sense? Like,
No,
there's-
because regardless of what religion you are, I think religion is extremely important.
Yeah.
It's very important
agree.
to believe in something more than, this. Like more than
Body.
there is some
Or-
whatever it is, there's
Yeah.
some higher thing
Yeah.
beyond us.
Yeah.
And I agree. I don't
Yeah.
like the concept of you're
But,
from the mud.
but
You're
higher
from
thing
the
beyond
You
mud.
got
us.
injected with a superpower, and then now you built the pyramids, and there you go. Now you can make an aqueduct, and now you're smart, but
Yes, but
only
until
because of that shot. Yeah.
So higher thing beyond us. I mean, does that mean they just thinking back, especially hundreds or thousands of years ago, whatever? Just something up in the sky that comes down, or
No,
are we talking
I mean,
about powerful, more
That's
intelligent?
Each to their own.
I mean,
right?
I mean, we're gonna get into super philosophical.
Okay, fine,
fucking-
fine. But
Supreme
my point
being.
We're
is,
gonna take a quick
Scenario.
break here for a deep dive.
No, but I know what you mean.
Quick
I know what you're
deep
saying. I'm just trying to say we can't count that out.
No, true.
That's all.
I agree.
okay.
Do you know what I mean?
No,
You
like
can't
what,
count out.
obviously, I don't think any of us has this is the answer.
Yeah.
No,
Yeah.
yeah, for sure.
Well, also let us say, because it sounds like 200,000 years ago something changed.
Something happened.
Something
Okay.
happened, right?
Yeah.
Like
Something
we went
occurred.
from just fucking banging cave women
Yeah.
To
we should build some shit. Yeah, exactly.
Dude, look at this wheel,
but
brother.
the question then becomes what happened.
Right.
Yeah.
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 And so,
And so this
And
is
so you're saying,
I'm saying we just can't count out there could be a religious aspect of it where that's when, I don't know. I'm just saying, as opposed to just being injected with
yeah, but
DNA
but even
of
if you were
of an
injected
alien,
with DNA of an alien and all that,
that
that
takes
means
away
that's
all
an alien.
No, I know, but that takes away
came-
all religion.
No, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
No, because if your religion
I don't
believes
think
in
so
a
either.
spirit,
No?
if your religion believes in a spirit, creating a human body doesn't mean that religion doesn't exist.
Also,
Right?
there's so many
Right?
there's so many religions,
Because
and
there's-
really what
there's-
it comes down to when
yeah.
you say religion is just faith. So it's
Yeah.
like whatever you have faith
True.
in, okay, fine.
Yeah.
True.
So
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
man.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it wouldn't ever take away. I don't think it'll ever
Yeah.
take away the religious aspect.
Yeah.
I just think it's like saying because I'm sure even the cavemen believed in some kind of shit. Whatever that was, I'm sure they
True.
had some sort of.
I'm just
belief
wondering. I'm
God,
very
fire.
curious. I'm very curious. Like it seems like a scientific demarcation in a line that occurred.
Yeah, 300,000 years.
300,000 years. Something happened,
2 to 300,000 years ago.
and I don't know what that
there was
is.
a shift.
You know what I mean? Yeah, I
There
don't
was
know
a
what that
shift
is.
in the
Yeah.
the space, and something
Yeah,
occurred.
yeah.
Agreed.
Yeah.
Agreed. What that was? Fucking no idea.
Yeah,
I'm not speculating
exactly.
on that. I'm speculating on aliens here, brother. So then we get into gold. Obviously, gold is even they had that shitty movie with Daniel Craig where it was Cowboys vs. Aliens.
I never
I
saw
think I
that.
ever saw
It was
that.
about
Never saw
gold
that.
too.
Really?
Yeah, it
Oh,
was
really?
so bad. It was the worst fucking movie I've ever seen.
Yeah.
It was literally the worst movie I've
Okay,
ever
good.
seen.
Well,
Don't ever
never saw
watch
it,
it. It's
so.
terrible. But gold is involved in that.
Okay.
Gold is the thing in
It is
humanity.
it is the thing.
It's,
Isn't it a
it's
weird-
definitely a
It's
concept.
like a weird obsession with
Yeah.
it too throughout the
Yeah.
You're fucking obsessed.
Are you wearing a piece of?
Yeah, look
Corey's
at that
got
chain.
gold.
Look at that.
Like, do you have
Bling.
anything?
That
I have
bling.
nothing. I have nothing.
I have silver.
Silver. Yeah.
This is white gold.
I have beads
is
my
white gold.
mom made. That was about it.
It's
You know what I
okay.
mean?
It's
But I have
okay.
no.
It-
Oh no!
this
I
is
got
gold.
Okay, it's okay,
Gold.
peasants.
Yeah, I got.
It's
I got
okay,
the-
peasants.
It is definitely our income line.
I'm like, I got plastic. Just wore shoes today, boys. Just wore shoes.
No, so the other
Some
day,
aluminum. Some aluminum.
so the other
High
day,
quality aluminum.
so the other day, I had to go recycle metal, like large quantities of metal.
For cash?
Yeah,
Yeah.
No,
For like
actually,
Miller Lights?
actually for cash. Yeah, I had 3,000 pounds of metal.
Yeah,
like
what the
aluminum metal. It was in the back of that warehouse.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I was like,
And I
what
was
the
like,
fuck are you
instead of
doing?
throwing it away, why don't I go recycle it?
Smart.
So I started loading it up to the recycling place, the metal recycler or whatever.
The one
Like
down the
50
street
bucks?
here?
Down the street, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. And so you go and you pull in, and I got like $200.
Damn,
You know what I
that's-
mean? In
I
metal.
know.
But it was really heavy. It was a lot. It was thousands of pounds.
Right.
Yep. But I
Meanwhile, it's worth
literally- I saw-
2,000. Like they
I saw a
scammed
dude.
Eric.
I saw a dude full gold, top and bottom. teeth.
That's
just, and he's
Old
like
school.
a metal guy, and like it was just a
It's all
wild.
recycled metal.
Yeah.
Yes.
All recycled.
But it was the fascination with gold.
It's
like
this obsession. It is an obsession.
Crazy.
It's like it has been.
rappers and like
Oh, yeah.
all the things. Yeah.
I mean, it's weird how much value we put on it.
Yeah.
I mean, there's
royalty even.
there's-
Oh, the crown,
True,
the
true,
that's
true.
why- that's
throne,
why I think, like,
everything.
Everything has to be gold.
Gold.
Yeah, yeah,
I
yeah.
think that that's why there's a reason behind why this obsession with gold. There has to be some sort of reason because
Yeah.
they didn't have like fucking geologists back back in the
Right.
day being like, oh, we can use this shit for spaceships. Like
That's why I go back to that question. Since we're talking about like other planets, like, do you think there's gold elsewhere?
I'm sure there is. I mean,
You
the
think?
universe is
Yeah.
a very large place, but maybe
other
but,
planets?
But,
Yeah.
but maybe in the grand scheme, it's like it's not as
Valuable?
No, maybe in the grand scheme, it's not as like a populous element on other planets.
Oh, I
maybe
see.
some other planets have it, but
Yeah.
maybe it's like, damn, it's just rare as fuck.
Yeah.
Like in the
Okay.
universe, they're
Yeah.
like, damn.
Yeah.
Like carbon,
pretty rare
carbon's,
here.
carbon's
Oh,
everywhere.
it's pretty rare
here. Yeah.
There's so much gold underneath the earth that we can't get to.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Like, but it's rare.
But
what
could
we
you
can
imagine?
get.
Could you imagine the planet who doesn't think it's rare? And they have like, you know how we have like tinfoil? We like wrap our sandwiches. It's gold because they just they're like, I don't give a fuck. It just helps my sandy.
They're like, oh, gold again? I'm so sick of this shit.
Hey, can you pick up some gold at Publix? It's in a thin wrap. Yeah, like a foil.
They're like 100 yards
Yeah.
of it.
God damn it.
We need more. Pick up some gold at
Yeah.
Publix.
My ham sandies getting bad. Like I need to wrap it. Yeah.
So, anyways, there's the gold mining theory. So the Anunnaki, according to Sitchin, needed gold to repair the atmosphere of their home planet, Nibiru. So to extract the precious metal, they required labor, which led to the creation of human workers. So the Anunnaki supposedly established mining operations in southern Africa, where ancient gold mines have been discovered.
Man, this sounds like a good book.
Dude, I mean, this is they're.
Yeah.
I mean, Sitchin was
good
like,
movie.
I'm gonna sell these papers, baby.
I may or may not write this book.
I'm pretty sure it's already been written.
Well,
Yeah. Anyways,
it's gonna be called Eric. Enrique.
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 The god Enrique descended upon.
This is all about gold. It's gold.
And you come by, you're like, fucking gold goes through the
Yes.
gold trains. Like,
Dude.
trust me, humans.
Oh my god.
So then, proponents of the theory point to ancient structures such as the pyramids of Giza, Stonehenge, and the ziggurats of Mesopotamia as evidence of advanced technologies introduced by the Anunnaki. So I've always been on board with the Anunnaki assisting in the building of the pyramids. That was always been my thought. Well, obviously, we'll do a pyramids episode. Don't
Yep.
worry about that.
November.
But these monumental structures built with precision and engineering knowledge that seems beyond the capabilities of
For
ancient civilizations. I mean, these are sometimes cited proof of extraterrestrial beings. I mean, it's when you really take it back, there's so many completely impossibly unanswered questions. Like how are the dimensions? How is it so perfect? It's within millimeters.
Right.
Like, and you're doing this shit with like some fucking ancient fucking stone, like iron, like, and you're cutting. You're literally.
Yeah, I mean that's easy.
Solid-
No, the
easily
degrees and
explainable.
the
explainable.
Easily
the
explainable.
degrees and the
That's totally
precision
fine.
is definitely like
Like you're cutting
but
tunnels
then
through
also the
solid
weight
stone.
of these
It's
blocks
like,
that they're
20,
moving.
30, 40 tons.
It's
And
ridiculous.
they're coming from a quarry that's 500 miles away. It's
You have to have
we put
had-
up a few videos. We already figured that out. But
No.
yeah,
Oh,
anyways.
cool, yeah.
I don't
So,
know
yeah, the water.
Also, water manipulates stone pretty easily. It's like a whole thing.
Yeah, okay, Eric. Why don't you
No,
go, why don't
come
you go,
on
I
now.
mean,
Eric, why don't
anyways,
you-
we digress.
We're gonna get into
let's
it.
Yeah,
get
it's
Eric
fine.
to drop
Yeah.
a 20-ton stone of block in the river and see how easily manipulated
Give me
it is.
Give me 25,000 union workers over 20 years, and I'm gonna build you some fucking wild
right.
shit.
Eric will literally build you a flat plane of stones that are very uneven. Look what I have created.
I'm gonna build the first mountain of Florida.
the stone garden. It's like there's a bunch of stones randomly placed. So, anyways, fucking retard. Then there's the astronomical knowledge. This is like astronomy, not like
Yeah.
it's astronomical. So the theory also claims that ancient civilizations had knowledge of astronomy that was far beyond their time. It's very true. Like they fucking knew all kinds of shit. The Sumerians' knowledge of the solar system, for instance, including planets not visible to the naked eye, is often attributed to the Anunnaki's influence.
I see.
This is one thing that I've always been like, how the fuck did they know? They didn't have telescopes.
Right.
But they knew orbits, they knew celestial patterns, they knew all this shit.
Yeah.
Like,
can I be the devil's advocate?
they have really good eyesight.
I mean, this is just sounds like thousands of years of having nothing to do. We're not scrolling TikTok. We're literally sitting at a campfire, drinking mead.
Looking up.
I don't know what they drank, but
mead,
like mead or
Mead
wine
sounds
or
right.
whatever. And then we're just literally staring up for 1,000 years.
No, but then you're like, did that dot move over? But you can't see shit.
I mean, Frank said it did.
I know, but like they actually had like very in-depth knowledge.
Yeah.
Like I understand, but like, cool, this dot moved to the other dot, but what does that mean? But like very in-depth knowledge.
Right.
Like knowledge that like
Seems
it's a little
hard to come by.
Yeah, no shit. It's super hard to come by. So then we get into some of the conspiracy theories. One of the theories is the government cover-up, obviously. I mean, it's on everyone's mind. Everyone already knows government cover-up.
Obvious.
So the Anunnaki have been linked to modern UFO sightings and extraterrestrial encounters, with some conspiracy theorists suggesting that governments are aware of their existence and are covering it up.
Absolutely
so there's
not.
like, you know,
Absolutely not.
you don't think like the government's got like some little backdoor deal
With
like,
the Anunnaki?
We're talking about like 5,000 years ago, too. Aren't we?
No,
We're not talking about like
no,
1982.
No, this is like right
like-
now, present time.
Oh,
this
okay.
isn't like ancient government.
Right.
Like,
So you're thinking like maybe the
Specifically
maybe,
the U.S.
maybe
government.
the,
United States
maybe
government.
maybe there's like an ambassador, Anunnaki ambassador,
Yeah.
and he's like, well, I'm gonna check things out, see how it's going in like 1988.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like check things out.
Totally.
And then Reagan's like,
Fuck yeah.
what the fuck are you doing? Tear down this wall.
And he's like, you fucking aliens
Yeah.
are never going to change me.
But and then they're covering it up. Like maybe they came and they're like, hey, let's talk to Reagan.
So I think
then-
I think one of the biggest proponents behind this theory is like, you look at, you know, okay, we had the Industrial Revolution. We're like, we got fucking steam engines and shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden, they're making like, I don't know if you've seen the video where they show how they make the micro semiconductors on like the micron thick.
Oh yeah, you sent a video on that. I
and
think.
it's like, it's so
it's fucking
ridiculous.
tiny
It's like,
and
how
precise.
the fuck are we doing this?
Yeah,
Like, come
crazy.
on. I don't even know how the technology we have right now is doing it.
Yeah.
I'm like, how the fuck is that possible? Like, how can you have a little microscopic laser beam? That's
I don't like the thread of like constantly putting down, not you personally, but the theories that constantly put down the ingenuity of mankind.
Look,
Like the Industrial Revolution was a combined effort of thousands of years of mankind coming together
I'm
to
saying-
make life better.
no, you're misunderstanding me. I think the Industrial Revolution was us.
Oh, okay. Oh,
And
okay.
then-
Okay.
Fucking 50 years later, we're like, we're making iPhones. I feel like that was the Industrial
That was us.
Revolution was like that was
us.
all us. That was motherfuckers in coal mines.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They were like
Yeah.
blood, sweat, and tears.
And they're like
we made the railroads.
No,
and
like
shit.
a great example is can you imagine living in Tampa in 1920?
I would die, just instantly die.
There was no air conditioning.
No,
Yeah.
you just die.
There,
It's the worst.
so by 100 years of living in Tampa, somebody was like, "Hey, it's not very comfortable living
This
here.
ain't working out for
Just-
me.
We need to solve
like
this
it's
problem.
90 degrees in October, just so we're all clear."
It's like,
Yeah.
When is winter?
Yes.
Is winter solstice just
So
happening? What the fuck is happening?
by the necessity of
No such
making like our it seems like mankind is constantly just trying to make ourselves more comfortable and more pleasure.
Totally.
Yeah,
Yeah.
right.
100%.
Whether
I fully agree.
yeah, and so
I'm just saying, like,
yeah.
I fully believe that we did that.
Yeah,
Like,
okay.
that's all, but my point was
We
like,
built air
yeah.
conditioners.
No, it's like, yeah, we're like, oh, cool, like steam, we're making trains and shit.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden it's like, and it's like, oh, it was made an F-22 Raptor. You're like, what the fuck? Like, I got like,
It really steamrolled.
it was so,
really
like,
steamrolled.
No, the advances within a 50-year period, like within
Yeah.
a 100-year period, are like
Yeah.
far more. The leap was like more than the last 5,000 years.
Yeah.
Right.
Like in such a short period of time. So that's why I'm like, okay, was there like a little help? They're like, oops,
Yeah.
it is it.
Here's a little
Look, little
cheat
laser
code.
beam,
What's
yeah.
the
What's
cheat code?
wild that I'm very excited about is if you take that exact concept and then you do it in the future.
Yeah.
If it keeps pace,
I was just thinking
of
about
what
that
you're talking
when you were-
about.
yeah.
when you were talking about that.
Legit sky.
Like imagine
We're
the next,
amazing. We're at an
just
amazing
the next
age.
10 years.
No, yeah, we're at an amazing age because we're like late 30s, early 40s, la la la. So that means we have, I mean, God forbid, we have 40, 50 years left, right? That means that we will see
that
the same evolution of that. Yeah.
I mean, if I could
Maybe,
like,
hopefully,
maybe.
hopefully,
if I could like Uber eat some Chipotle and some Chick-fil-A right now, well, imagine the next 10 years what I can do.
I know, it's just gonna like teleport the Chipotle into my face.
No. So I have a son. So I have a son, and he's in high school. Believe that or not. Yeah, and he just started high school. He just started high school, and so for the first time, he goes off campus for lunch, and he has a phone.
yeah?
You told me about that. I was like, what the fuck?
It's super weird. And then I was like, hey, who are you going to lunch with? And he's like, oh, just, whatever. And he like wouldn't tell me. And he's like, it's fine. I have a map. And I was like, oh, cool. And he's like, what did you do before? And I was like, what do you mean? And he's like, I mean, you didn't have a phone in high school. And I was like, no, I did not. At freshman year? No, absolutely.
no.
That was 1998.
88.
1988.
I was like, damn,
No,
how fucking old are you?
1998. No, and I was like, we didn't have maps. We had
You're like
Thomas
like
Guide.
an almanac.
Yeah, we had Thomas Guide and whatever, and that
Atlas,
was
I mean.
it. Yeah, and so just one generation
It's true.
Yeah.
he's got everything. He literally subscribes to ChatGPT.
Oh, yeah?
And he's fucking killing it.
ChatGPT, do my
Yes.
homework.
Yeah.
exactly.
Hey, he probably
Anyways,
does.
so the point being is just that one generation of technology advancement is crazy.
It's wild.
Yeah,
Right.
it's
I mean,
crazy.
I actually saw my wife sent me this video. It was hysterical, and it's literally like, so it's like this black dude and his like older son is like driving, and then he's got his younger son in the back, and he's like saying something, and then his younger son in the back's like, "Well, Dad, when were you born?" He's like 1985, and then his son's like, and he keeps talking, and his son's like, so how was it being a slave? And he's like, what the fuck? like thought he was so old.
Yeah.
You're like, you're so old. But like, it's funny. Yeah, it's like that concept. Like we're gonna be boomers.
It's
soon.
just interesting
yeah.
that what will occur in the next 30 years.
Yeah.
30 years from now.
Very interesting.
I mean, if you think about it, like when we went to the moon, like the biggest computer in the world was in it took up like an entire building.
Yeah.
And it had the computing power of like an iPhone 2.
Yeah.
Now it's like
shit,
if I had my phone would be literally power like Earth.
Yeah.
If I took it back like 50 years ago.
It's crazy.
Anyways,
I'm excited
about
I'm excited about
some
Oh,
of
yeah,
the-
me too.
moving on, gentlemen.
Yeah.
So some of the fringe theories suggest that world elites, such as the secret societies or powerful families, are descendants of the Anunnaki or are in league with them, controlling global events and humanity's future. I think that one's a little bit because, like, technically, like, wouldn't we all be descendants of the Anunnaki, right?
Yeah.
Like ish, because they used the DNA, like.
Also, I don't really believe
Hey,
that
unless
George
you got-
Bush is like
unless you got
fucking
place
killing
here.
the
Like, I
Anunnaki.
mean, if he wasn't rich, that dude would be useless. He'd be
Dude.
working at 7-Eleven.
No, he'd be a great guy to meed at the bar. Like, he'd be
Oh,
a-
for sure, like a baseball game.
Dude, he'd be fucking
eating
awesome.
dogs, like drinking
I'd
beers.
fucking hang with him all the time.
He's probably like a great
Yeah.
like hangout dude. Like in college, he's probably the shit.
I know. I wouldn't have him deal with my 401k.
I also wouldn't have him like handle like foreign affairs. But a couple beers around the barbecue is probably solid, bro.
Good to go, yeah.
And then the other one is the reptilian hypothesis. A lot of people love this one.
Oh, yeah.
So it was popularized.
This is actually pretty popular.
by
I hate
David.
this one.
By David.
I actually
Icke.
hate this one too.
He sometimes intersects with the
Reptiles.
Anunnaki theory, but he's suggesting that the Anunnaki were shape-shifting reptilian beings who have controlled human affairs for millennia.
And Zuckerberg is one of them, by
What
the way.
the
Oh, he
fuck?
looks like a reptilian.
Who started this reptile scenario?
No, but it's like, is it okay? Here, we'll take it back. Do you believe that there are other beings that live in the universe?
Yeah.
Is it weird to believe that maybe the race of them happened to be
No.
reptilian in nature?
Yes.
No.
How is that weird? They all have to be
Because
humans.
it's like a small species that's on Earth that lives in our swamps. Like it's like taking one species and going.
Let me roll it
like
back.
this. These are
do you believe that? Do you believe dinosaurs existed?
yes.
So, do you think that they were thinking, oh, humans come. They're such a small species that lives in our fucking swamps. Like they ruled the world. Like they were the only species. Reptiles were the only thing that existed. That and fucking bacteria.
You know, now that you had me get in the head of a T-Rex,
I'm just saying, like,
Now it all makes sense.
Now
it like
Now
makes sense for you.
obviously, like, you know, I think the human condition is like one of like we are the supreme beings. We are conceited.
Totally,
like,
we're
there's
very
like
conceited.
all aliens have to just look like us because it's the only thing we can like comprehend.
Right.
So I don't necessarily believe this.
see.
I don't believe that this is happening.
Yeah.
I'm just saying that
if
There
they're
could
gonna
be
be
reptilian
if they're gonna be
beings that
something,
exist.
it's not reptilian.
well, what would they be?
But exist not on Earth.
Just not.
I'm not saying I don't believe in like the reptilians like controlling the planet. I'm
Right,
just saying
okay.
that reptilians could exist and like that's
Shape
not like
shape shifting
dude. Anything is like I don't
or
I don't
just
believe-
regular reptilians.
just like regular reptilian or no. I'm saying that like what we like. I believe that there's so much beyond our comprehension. There's so much
Yeah,
beyond
for
our
sure.
like ability
Yeah.
to even like understand.
Yeah,
That
okay.
to me, like sure, totally,
Okay.
that's totally plausible. I mean, like in humans terms, we think that the fastest thing in the universe is the speed of light, which I think
Can't be true.
I think I disproved.
It can't be
like
true.
on like one of our episodes.
Yeah, it can't be true.
Oh well, no, look, like I'm telling you, I'm gonna say it again. Look at a black hole. If light can't escape a black hole, the gravity is faster than light.
Yeah.
If light is the fastest thing in the universe, it would be able to get out.
True.
But if light can't
Okay.
escape a black hole,
So-
that pull is stronger, faster than light.
So it debunks it, or not
Well,
debunk.
in
Not
my-
the word debunk. It
Well, no, it just
Disproves?
it just
Disproves
it just proves that there's something that could be faster
Yep.
than light. Gravity is faster than light.
Yeah,
That's
But
why
I mean, I'm more talking about like a snake man.
Yeah.
I think it's totally possible.
Okay.
Totally possible.
Yeah.
Whether it's real or not, I don't know. I've never fucking seen one, but
But it's
I'm saying it's
possible.
possible.
I guess I would have to dive in
in
more.
the infinite
Like
probabilities of anything, it's possible.
I would have to dive more in like what defines a reptile.
Which, I mean, it's not that complicated. Like, it's fucking reptile.
No, I mean we go back to like early biology's class.
You're like dissecting.
No, I mean,
reptilians are like,
no,
your teacher's
I think-
reptilian, like you fucking piece of shit.
I think it's
Don't you dare dissect that, bro.
dude. This is gonna come back to haunt me for sure, 100%. But I'm pretty sure the definement of a reptile is the type of vertebrae that they have, and they're water-bearing creatures.
No. For example, like reptiles don't necessarily.
Well, help me out. Like,
No, well, reptiles I think are they're cold-blooded.
Mm-hmm.
I think they're cold-blooded creatures that they are like they're semi-aquatic, but like they don't live.
But isn't there like a
you could- 'cause you can have, like-
there's a line between a mammal and a reptile.
Yeah,
Yeah, it's
gotta be-
cold-blooded, warm-blooded.
Yeah,
And that's it.
Well,
That's
no,
And scales,
No,
I guess.
reptiles lay eggs.
There it is.
Oh,
Yeah, there it is.
true,
Yeah,
true.
yeah.
Mammals birth.
Okay,
live
so if we're going
creatures.
down to the basic, like that means they lay eggs
Yeah, and they have cold blood.
And cold-blooded.
and cold blood.
Yeah.
That's
okay.
why they're always like sitting in the heat, like fucking warm me up.
right.
Shit.
So because in the caricature world of reptilians, it's a lizard man.
Right.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like they're the cartoon version of.
Oh, so you're saying like it'd be
Yes.
like a human who's got cold blood who's like
Yeah.
shits out eggs.
But yeah, but in reality, that's all the basic of what it means.
I think there's more probably.
There's probably more.
We'll look
Yeah,
at more.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Yeah.
okay.
Three dudes, 3 high school diplomas.
I mean, it's debatable. 3 is 1 combined high school diploma. Like, all of our credits combined.
I didn't say I passed science to get a high school diploma.
Oh, my God.
Back in the day, back when like, these boomers, it was like 70% was passing the standard.
Okay.
So we get into some of the rejections by academia and the mainstream. So historians, archaeologists, scientists, they overwhelmingly reject the Annunaki theory as pseudoscience and misinterpretation of ancient text. Sitchin's work has been criticized for its inaccuracies, particularly his mistranslations of the Sumerian cuneiform text.
Okay.
So it's like, I'm pretty
Yeah,
sure
sure.
everyone's mistranslating them because
Yeah.
no motherfucker. It was
Yeah,
like,
no,
How
it's-
can you
it's-
accurately say that is,
Yeah.
how can you say it's
Trust
accurate?
me on this
yeah.
one.
We've seen this a lot of times, which is it's the telephone game
Oh,
over
right.
10,000 years.
I mean,
Yeah.
look
Imagine
how many
shit.
versions of the Bible there are.
Yeah,
There's
exactly.
like
100%.
fucking
Yeah.
200.
Yeah.
Because it's like, oh, well, I think he meant this. So
Yeah.
I think there is an aspect of the
gotta be.
There is like the person who's reading it is going to interpret things differently.
Yeah.
And so probably to each person, like probably 1-to-1. Like if I were to read it, I'd be like, maybe this means this. You
Yeah.
know? So
Yeah, okay.
I totally agree that there's probably like
super misinterpreted.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because who knows what they actually fucking meant? I don't know.
Like
Yeah.
slaves could be workers. Workers could be slaves. It's very simple.
He's like, Eric's like, this is the
Yeah.
uniform word for 401k, right?
Yeah.
Medical, dental, vision. It's all here, boys. Fuck you.
PTO.
So there's also lack of evidence. There's no credible archaeological or genetic evidence to support the idea of extraterrestrial influence on human evolution or in the existence of a planet like Nibiru. I get like no evidence of Nibiru for sure, but like how would there be evidence of like there'd have to be like a little alien corpse like with like a syringe like
Totally.
you would
Maybe,
never
maybe
you would
there
never
is.
actually
Maybe
Never
there is
find
an
it.
Area 51.
Never
there would never be evidence.
Actually, you
like-
know what's crazy, and I hope I'm not insensitive, but with the hurricane that just happened, I was watching some news program, and I happened to also be watching a history program about something similar to this, but 10,000 years ago,
Yeah.
And I saw North Carolina, and I saw Asheville, and I saw some of these other places, and the flooding just like there was one town.
Like dude, it's like under.
It's gone.
under,
Wiped away.
Yeah,
completely
like it's
under,
gone.
yeah.
The whole
Yeah.
thing.
And so then I realized though that some of these things have been lost
Oh, there-
because of Earth.
There's theories that there's like
You know what I mean?
ancient civilizations that were literally covered under mud.
Yeah,
Like-
and we saw it like last
Happened.
week.
I know in Asheville, like,
Yes.
there was like 8 feet of mud. It's
Yes,
like crazy.
insane.
Wow.
Yeah,
But
so
you imagine that over hundreds of thousands
yes,
of years.
so
like,
it totally could happen.
No, totally.
100% could happen.
and it would just be lost, and there's
Yeah,
nothing
it's
you
gone.
can do about it.
Yeah,
And then obviously they get into like the role of science fiction. They're like, oh well, popular culture and science fiction, and blending that with ancient myth and shit makes into like this imaginative idea,
yeah,
which is whatever.
yeah.
Too many
Okay.
coincidences. So, anyways, in conclusion, I think that there is kind of I think there's always been, since the history of man, there's always been this mythology, this fascination with beings coming from above, and there's all these correlative things where it's like, oh, the gods descend and all these things, that there's got to be something there.
Yeah.
It's not like they were telling fairy tales for 4,000 years.
It's like
Yeah.
we always say,
Like,
like,
there's
gotta be
once,
some truth.
twice, coincidence, but now it's like 3, 4, 5, 6,
but it's
7,
also
8,
like
10 times.
it's spanning different cultures
Right.
over millennium.
Yep.
Yeah.
And they're all, in essence, they're all very similar things, but just different variations of the same exact thing.
Yeah.
It just, there's got to be something there. There's, I don't know what it is. I'm not like, I can speculate. Obviously, that's what I do for, the podcast for 2 years.
Yeah.
This speculation. But there has to be something to it.
Yeah.
It's not just like everyone, 6,000 years of humans are telling bedtime stories and like they're living their entire lives. They're fucking building monuments to these fairy tales. Like, like in ancient Rome, they were built, you build a damn temple that's like bigger than the
True.
biggest mansion in Florida, for a fairy tale. Like, those motherfuckers believed.
Yeah.
Like,
yeah.
and there's a reason, I think there's a reason that there was such devout belief, and they would make, you make sacrifices to these guys. Like,
Yeah.
you want to kill one of your homies? Like, you gotta believe, there's gotta be like some basis to the belief system.
Yeah. Okay.
So I think that there is something there. I mean, I would be very interested to see what your guys' take before I give mine, because I've kind of already said it mostly, but
Yeah. Jorge?
I mean, I'm kind of like along those lines. I'm very, pretty much bought into the idea of like definitely. I mean, we've been talking about this over so many episodes
sure.
that we've done. That,
yeah, it's constant.
like you guys know that
Constantly.
I'm definitely like
Yeah.
in. I wouldn't say all in, mostly in.
Like
on this,
80%?
yeah, like
Yeah.
80% in.
junk DNA in.
No, but I love this. Like, this is something that we've, at least Sean and I have talked about.
Off camera.
yeah.
Many times.
For years, we've been talking about these guys, and so I do believe that there is this race. I mean, are they called that? Let's just call them that.
Just call them that. Like,
let's just call them
I
that.
think that's what the Sumerians call
exactly.
them. Like, we don't know if that's not like the real names.
I'm gonna go with that. I believe it. I'm a believer of the Annunaki. I'm gonna say that.
Okay.
Yeah. And I do believe that they had something to do with like the creation of Homo sapiens. You know, we'll say it like that. Like that DNA.
Even if it wasn't the creation, maybe it's manipulation.
Okay, yeah, that's a better word. That's a better word. That's a better word.
Manipulate it. You're like, ooh, like this motherfucker kind of he can talk.
Yeah.
Let's just fuck him up. Let's just let's make him a little more pliant.
I've always been like fascinated about like that what's the word, like ability, like the ability, I guess, like how much ability do we have within us that is the potential. That's what I was trying to look for, you know,
all this potential.
Yeah,
like, and
that's been like programmed into us.
But you
and,
even
like,
see like,
what's available that we can tap into.
Look at the flashes. Look at the flashes that you see of like these brilliant, like people that, you know, Mozart. And you have like these like Nikola Tesla, and like you're like, what? Like, and they're like, oh, I just came up with this fucking Tuesday. And I'm like, oh, look at this shit. Like, like how the fuck did you? Yeah. So I feel like maybe like over time, it's like some of that stuff chips away, and like maybe one little thing activates, and they're like this like, you know, once in a lifetime kind of genius or whatever it is.
Yeah.
Like that you have like these fucking. There's all these different stories.
The only thing I would say is that I do think that there's several of, we'll call them Anunnaki, several races of
totally,
you know, we'll call them, you know, aliens, I guess, that have come down. So it's not like just one. I feel like that there's been like several over time.
Okay.
You know,
I could dig with that.
Yeah.
Eric, what do you believe?
Nothing.
That's all bullshit. Eric believes Modelo only. Modelo's the only true God.
What's Modelo mean in Spanish? I don't even know.
Model?
Model?
Yeah.
Just the model beer?
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. There you go. You learn something every day.
The standard, baby.
Modelo, model.
No, I could get behind visitors in the past.
Are you going to up it up from 4? Is it going to go to 6 times?
No, I mean, this is probably in that category of like one of those guys.
One of the 4.
One of the 4 that made it. But I don't think they have anything special other than they are just older than us. Meaning they didn't come down with superpowers or godlike or anything like that. But it would be like us visiting a primitive civilization. And then us being like, hey,
well,
just
you
so
would be considered advanced.
I know, but we wouldn't be God.
Well, you would be God in the sense of you're coming down from up above, from the heavens, from the sky.
But nonetheless, we're still just a civilization that is advanced to a certain point.
Well, the thing is, like these creatures, like the way they're depicted, it's not like it's a human.
I know.
It's not like it's like
John
came from the sky and he's like, "What's up, bros?"
Yeah.
So that's why I think they were like, these have to be gods.
But
like,
I wouldn't be surprised if it's something where, just imagine humans, say 500 years from now, humans found a way to get to another planet that had life.
Okay.
And that life was primitive, and we came there.
They'd be like, gods.
And we did exactly the same thing. And we just said, hey, by the way, you know, if you put water in the soil, like a little plant will sprout.
It's like an idiocracy. Like, like the toilet stuff?
Yeah, yes. No, and we just give them a couple nuggets of fucking like technology or whatever.
Yeah.
And then that's godlike to them.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's lit.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Literally
I can see that.
Okay, well,
but I don't think
what we're saying.
That's what we're saying.
That's exactly what we said.
Ish, you know.
What do you mean ish? About the whole like create like.
Yeah, the DNA manipulate. I don't know.
The manipulation.
Yeah, I think that's a little far fetched, but I wouldn't put it past. I mean, we're talking about 200,000 years.
See, my thing with the DNA that I'm super stuck on is like, it wouldn't. It's so. It just doesn't add up. Why we would only be using 20% of it? It's like why would the other 80% even exist if it's like trash? Doesn't even useless.
Junk.
It's just such a waste of like.
Strange.
Why would you have most of it?
Why would we
develop
saying,
that
way?
80% of my car is useless.
Yeah, like why was it developed that way?
Exactly, that's my point. Like even in evolutions, even if it's like an evolutionary standpoint, it's like it evolved to not.
So we
use
just don't
any
even
of it.
know. We just don't even know.
We don't. I mean, it's all speculation.
Yeah.
But anyways, Love to hear your takes. I'm sure I missed everything. And I guarantee there's going to be many people that are on TikTok. Sean's a fucking idiot. Like, what did that one guy say? Oh, just more guys on the mic not knowing shit. Or
more fucking
idiot
fucking
bros.
gay boys on a fucking microphone. Don't know nothing. All right,
anyways,
awesome.
I hope that, hope you guys have some more information for me because I'd love to know more. I'm still mid this book. The book is really hard to listen to because the guy's like a fucking scientist. And I'm like, oh, but it's like it's really great. We'll post it. I'll look up the name. I'll give it to you guys. Yeah. But thanks so much for being here.
Yeah, absolutely. And just so you guys know, if you guys wanted, we also have some cool hats now.
Merch.
You could buy it and promote our podcast. So get in there, boys and girls.
I don't want to wear it because I don't want to like taint it.
Yeah, definitely get in there, and they're pretty cheap. So
also coming up, there's going to be a slight. We're going to probably have. Like this one and another video on, but we're moving spaces, so there's gonna be like a slight video hiatus, just a little bit, and we might be like on like ancient humanoid recording devices.
Yeah, audio.
Audio might sound a little shitty.
Yeah.
Next one, just like be prepared, but then we'll be back at a new space. It'll be beautiful.
Yeah,
you'll love it. But
real quick, where do they get this?
They get on our website. It's theconspiracypodcast.com/merch.
There you go.
Or just go to theconspiracypodcast.com, and there should be a
little
merch tab that you can go into.
Exactly.
We'll have more merch. This is just the first of many. We're gonna get shirts and hoodies and beanies and all that shit.
Koozies.
Fuck yeah! I can't wait to this product placement. This shit. High Dude's not paying me.
Dude, we're gonna get like microphone covers, fucking bras and shit, fucking everywhere.
Look at the face tat.
Yeah, dude, it's gonna be amazing.
But as always, guys, we'll catch you next time. Nighty night.